the ladies out and back with their coach. Game 2 coming up immediately following, as we'll take a short respite and then come back. John Feinstein will be joining us for the men's Holy Cross game. Holy Cross, the tallest team in the nation, will be playing against the Lafayette men. And John Feinstein, of course, the best-selling author of The Last Amateurs, which chronicled the Patriot League and Season on the Brink, The Good Walk Spoiled, and many others. John always does a nice job when he sits in here.
Hey, Gary, he's got such a great outlook on the game, on the games, and I say that advisedly, plural. He can take the game of golf and attach this human aspect to it. You know, how interesting was his book, A Season on the Brink with Bobby Knight, that dynamic personality, that dynamic character. I'm not sure he ranks anymore on one of the top 10 lists of best friends of Bobby Knight necessarily. But, you know, I'm sure there's a mutual respect there. But John does a great job, and you're going to have a fun time talking with him at halftime as well. Not that I don't bring the same sort of thing to the table.
Actually, you do, except for complete sentences. I think as Sarah Plasix comes out and nails a triple to start things off and shut us up.
Dangling participles and so forth.
That's her first triple of the ball game, her 14th of the season. She leads the team in threes. They had 45 of them coming into the ball game, and we get a foul called down on the floor.
Well, Gary, it's not the way Tammy Smith wanted to start the second half, with Holy Cross coming out and immediately hitting a long three. But I got to tell you, Ashley McClellan started off this game early on, had 2 or 3 rebounds in a row, and then she kind of went invisible. And right there, something we didn't see maybe all of the first half, an offensive rebound by one of the Lafayette big people and a stick back. So good early sign by Ashley McClellan.
McClellan drops both foul shots. Good news for the Leopards. They're 8 for 8 from the foul line. And I'm sure Tammy talked about trying to win the second half. Come out and try to do the best you can do against this ball club, and they missed 2 shots off the glass. In fact, Dan Mounty knows what Tammy talked about. Here's Dan.
All right, Gary, John, it was a concern over taking the control and pulling the trigger to take the shot. That's what Tammy Smith wants to see here in the second half. And so far, Lafayette has been complying. Now back to you.
And, of course, they've got to shoot the ball better. Only 19% in the first half. That's not good enough to win ball games.
Yeah, and Gary, that's a given. But I'll tell you, before that, I agree with Tammy Smith. I think it's so difficult to go inside. At some point, you got to choose your poison. I don't think Holy Cross is the kind of team that Lafayette can match up with on the interior. They're going to have to roll the dice, take the chances, and hope that they can begin to hit shots from the perimeter. But before you can hit them, you got to take them.
And Lafayette gets a fresh 30 seconds on the foul. That's the 3rd foul by Mary Rose Campbell, and looks like she's headed to the bench as Rojan will nail a field goal. That's her 3rd of the ball game. Liz with 7 points, and Lafayette down by 19.
Yeah, right on cue. Good execution that time. As we talk about execution, Holy Cross can't convert.
No execution as Fontana took it down, didn't get it high enough on the glass.
Yeah, the execution wasn't bad, the finish wasn't there. Oh, look at
there's
that.
a good
There you go.
Great look from Ashley McClellan. Dropping it down to Colleen Fitzpatrick. Fitz has 8.
Gary, when the game is played right, isn't it pretty? Love that stuff.
It's a great seal by Fitz. Good look inside, and there's another one. Good seal, good look. Buckets easy by Katie O'Keefe. 32nd timeout called by Holy Cross. And we usually have for you out-of-town scores, and they're usually brought to you by, as they are again today, Trans Bridge Lines. The only out-of-town score we had was one of those partials. Who used to make the partial scores famous?
It was George Carlin.
George Carlin, yeah.
American 17.
Yeah. Well, I think
that's it.
Yeah, we had a 37 thrown in there. Bucknell 37, and we don't know what Navy had.
That's right.
We didn't get any other reports.
But, Gary, there we take a look at some execution of their own on the part of the Leopards. And, you know, interestingly here, Bill Gibbons might be testing his team a little bit. The matchup zone that was so effective in the first half for him, he comes out here in the second half, and that particular offensive set by Lafayette was done against a straight man-to-man by Holy Cross. So, you know, Billy Gibbons may be experimenting a little bit. You know, the higher up you go and the better competition you play against, at some point in time, you are going to have to play man-to-man to be successful.
And I don't care, you know, you look for small victories sometimes, John. When you force them to call a timeout,
hey,
you know that you at least have
got him thinking.
Got them thinking. That's
no
right.
Question. No question about it. And
you know, I spent all day today working on Caitlin Agostinaccio.
She's not playing.
And well, I want to meet the seamstress that got her name on the back of her shirt. There she is, Agostinaccio. Somebody said to me, just think you're Italian, and then you can say it, and they're right. Agostinaccio.
Agostinaccio. It even sounds that way. You can't help but say her name with an accent.
That's
Incidentally, speaking of that, I got accents in Italian. I got to give some kudos to my barber, Leo. Barber Leo. Hey, Leo is a throwback. You walk into his shop at the Time Warp. Leo knows everything. Stock prices.
Costello with a triple.
Lafayette hanging around now. They're making some inroads. Down 16, long way to go here. It's a young team looking for some confidence. Gary, they're going to have to play from the perimeter against this tough Holy Cross team.
They cut a 20-point halftime lead to 16. Turnaround shot, and it creeps in for Lisa Andrews. She's having a terrific ball game, the sophomore.
That's Katie O'Keefe's backup, and I'll tell you, she is a tall order in there, and there's no defense. They throw it down to the post at point-blank range, and now Bill Gibbons goes back to the match.
So we heard the complete Leo story as Costello from the outside?
That's the scratch. That's the tip of the iceberg.
Rebound by Lisa Andrews.
Leo's a special guy. Leo lives up on Paxanosa Ridge as we take a look at another great pass.
I'll get a foul inside on Costello, I believe.
Every day from the top of Paxanosa Ridge downtown to his barber shop. 6 o'clock in the morning, I see him going down. 5:30 at night, I see him coming back home. He knows everybody in the city. Everybody seeks his counsel, and he does a great job with a comb and scissors.
So he's the bartender without the bar.
You got it.
Fontana has 7 points. This team really spreads the points around.
Yeah, they're just so versatile. And again, you look at their tall people, they're big people, they're big guards, Gary. Everybody can dribble, everybody can pass, and everybody can shoot.
And the lead back to 20.
Take a look at it,
Doherty.
Kristen. Take a look at it, Kristen. Good job. Great ball movement. Catch it in rhythm. You know, Tammy's saying, where were you in the first half? They needed to do that. But again, they'll learn from this, Gary. When they come up against a team that they're overmatched physically against, you got to have confidence that you can knock down the perimeter shot.
Turn around half hook, no. Rojan with a rebound. Looking up the floor, and she walked. Was going to pass, and then didn't see the pass, and then committed the walk, and the frustration on the face of Tammy with her assistants, LaRonda Murphy in her 4th year, Shelby Keeley in her 2nd, and Ron Hoffman has joined the staff for his 1st year as an assistant coach.
Yeah, you're right, Gary. You can see the frustration on their faces because they did force the stop, and they had a chance to cut into the lead. But there's an illustration of Liz Rojan looking for the guard.
O'Keefe.
Wow.
Hard to stop at 6'2".
And look at Andrews' move on the perimeter defensively. Take a look at it, Kristen.
Back outside, Kristen again, and it won't come up. Rojan with a good rebound. Liz drops the ball off to Costello. Great pass inside. Fitzpatrick up and in. Good ball movement by the Lady Leopard.
It's a different team in the second half. You can tell Tammy Smith got to them a little bit and said, you know what? It's a basketball game. Go out there, have some fun, take some shots, let the chips fall where they may, and it's paying off early here for the Leopards.
And we're going to get a turnover here by Holy Cross. A timeout down on the floor. 46-28. Stay with us as we get a look at the Leopards moving the ball. Fitzpatrick. While we were away, we had a battle of the mascots, John.
Yeah, Gary, I'm telling you, what you talk about using your fingertips, how does that happen? And, of course, a tough day for the Leopards all the way around. He just can't figure that out. And look, how about the taunting? Taunting.
Yeah, there was a 15-yard penalty on that play.
This guy represents the NCAA. You gotta fine him. You gotta suspend him. JJ, unsportsmanlike.
There's a get rid of JJ jumper movement here at Kirby. Shot from the outside, no. Rebound, Doherty. Doherty, no. Gets her own rebound.
Go ahead, Kristen.
Among the trees, Fitzpatrick, no. And finally, the trees went out.
Yeah, Kristen nipping at her heels there. I tell you, that's 3 rebounds in a row. Great hustle by Kristen Doherty.
Liz O'Connor nails a triple. The Lafayette works so hard at this end. It comes up empty. Holy Cross 2 passes and a 3.
I was just about to say, Gary, that sequence is a microcosm of how this game has gone for the Leopards.
49-28. The Leopards have stayed within 1 here in the second half. Fitz can't quite catch it. Good defense by Katie O'Keefe. Quickly down the floor, and Fontana will put it up. And in, Dan Mounty spent a little time in Tammy Smith's huddle. Let's hear what Tammy talked about.
All right, Gary, thanks a lot. First of all, a big help for Costello as she tries to defend against O'Keefe. That's what Tammy Smith is looking for underneath. That's a tall order out there. Also, she'd like to see defenders switching off around screens. She said most of you guys are the same size out there, so it doesn't matter who covers who. Get out there and blanket them. Now back to you.
And there's that good seal again.
That's
a great pass from Rojan.
Well, Rojan knew exactly what she was going to do with that ball before she caught it, and it's one of the keys to success for some of the best players, Gary. It's see, think, do, and when you can see before you catch the ball, boy, it gives you a huge advantage. Look at the left-hand move by O'Keefe.
That was pretty as she went left-handed, tipped her shoulder. By the way, that basket with Fitzpatrick. She now has been in double figures for 14 of the 15 Lafayette games. This time the held ball will belong to the Leopards. And Fitz immediately goes over to the coach and gets a little advice.
Don't look now, Gary, but you know, in the first 6 minutes of this second half, we've seen some pretty good basketball on both ends. Lafayette doing a better job of finding the goal, and of course, Holy Cross. Of course, it's just business as usual for them. But I'm still, you know, Lafayette now. It's tough to break the habit. They still seem intent on jamming that ball inside. Colleen Fitzpatrick physically is overmatched in there.
Gardy to Kokolis. Katie tries to drop it down, finds Fitz, and there's a 16-foot jump shot drained by Ashley McClellan.
You know, that's a different set. Now you've got Colleen Fitzpatrick on the block, and she's looking to become a passer from in there rather than force the ball over the taller Holy Cross defenders. So that time, a good offensive sequence.
Yeah, we put a little fire in the belly at halftime. They're playing with a lot more intensity, John. I think sometimes you, especially when you lose one of your really good players in Jen Berry, you come out feeling a little sorry for yourself, and Tammy probably talked to them about getting over that at halftime.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Gary. And it's almost as if, you know, it's a prize fight and you catch a clean shot on the jaw. It stuns you for a minute. You got to step back, but then eventually you try to gather yourself and get your game back.
Alicia Cruez comes into the ball game for Lafayette. Where's number 43? Kokolis jumper, no. And the rebound controlled by Fitzgerald.
Nice bounce pass. Nice hustle by Kokolis, both ends. She walked with it, but Gary, she broke up the sure layup by a Holy Cross. We haven't seen a lot as we'll take a look at Katie Kokolis. And no, this is the inside-outside sequence from Fitzpatrick to McClellan.
We get a timeout, 53-32. And again, these officials not real clear about whether they're calling 30-second timeouts or full timeouts.
Yeah, they're still talking about it. Let's get. What do we got?
I think we're going to keep it right here and talk to you about the Lafayette Sports Weekly, which is found on WST Radio AM 1400. Thursday nights at 7 o'clock. If you can't get enough of the Leopards or you have some questions you want to ask, and call in and just give a ring. Dick Hammer is the host. Don Leone often there. I stop by once in a while. Fran O'Hanlon or Tammy Smith there, or a representative of the men and women's basketball team. Give it a call. Lafayette Sports Weekly every Thursday, 7 o'clock. Lisa Andrews, John, has just matched for the 3rd time her career high with a dozen.
How about her compliment to Katie O'Keefe on the inside? Both are over 6 feet tall, and it gives you an example, Gary, of why this team can compete with some of the best teams in the country.
55-32.
Take a look at it, Kim.
There's a walk.
You got to shoot it.
Trying to get the feet set up was Cruez, and took a couple of steps to do it. Tammy wants the shots taken when they're there.
You can hear her. You can hear her. You got to pull the trigger. Take the shots when they're open.
That's foreign to me that people don't want to shoot. I just don't understand.
Anyone who's ever seen you play, I did not have the good fortune to do that, but your reputation precedes you.
By the time the coach was yelling, shh, it was already up.
That's right. I heard. I heard.
Fran O'Hanlon put it so succinctly. He never saw a shot he didn't like.
And the basket is always open.
That's right.
Throw it there.
That's right. Trying to get it off the glass of Shannon Bush. That won't go. We're going to get a foul called here on Holy Cross. It'll be on Patty Fitzgerald.
Yeah, nice defensive position that time by Colleen Fitzpatrick. Boy, she's being asked to do an awful lot. And I'll tell you, kudos to Ashley McClellan in the absence of Jen Baer and Brianna Welty, who's also out with an injury. They're the primary post people for the Leopards, and most of the duties have fallen to Ashley McClellan, and she's done a good job today.
Welty could return. She has a concussion out for a couple of weeks. The other injury is to Kelly Murray, who has a detached retina. And it's unknown as to whether she'll get back, and there's another walk by Lafayette.
Again, the ball is thrown into the interior. You got to find the defense first, and it's just tall, talented people on the inside.
Fitzpatrick hasn't had a rest this whole ball game. And she takes a couple of quick little steps. 55-32, come on back. We look at the Holy Cross huddle, and Dan Mowdy always tries to find some sort of interesting story, and I think he found one in that Holy Cross huddle. Here's Dan.
Well, Gary, for the second game in a row here on the Lafayette Sports Network, the opposing team's assistant coach has a note of honor. Catherine Diagiacinto is the granddaughter of longtime Northampton County Prison Warden and County Detective Fats Diagiacinto. So we just want to welcome her back home to Bethlehem, where the family has its roots. Now back to you.
All right, Dan, that's a great story, but I'm going to turn John on to pronouncing the name correctly with his Italian background.
Well, I
think it's DiGiacinto, no?
DiGiacinto. I'm sure the IMEA are silent.
I don't want Dan to become one of the warden's best friends.
One thing I can suspect with reasonable assurance is that she's in charge of discipline for this squad, given her genealogy.
When she says to the players, "You want to come home for a visit?"
No. Yeah. How many of these kids are on work release? I'm not sure.
At Holy Cross, none.
Probably none. That's right. Although I'll tell you what, when Bill Fitzgibbons or Billy Gibbons unleashes them on the court, they're none too friendly. That's for sure. These kids play with a real fire about them.
And we are always a little careful about what we say, because Holy Cross takes our video and watches this ball game all the way back to Worcester.
Yeah, but I think Billy's okay with us. He's always been kind,
you know.
Oh,
yeah, there's nothing crazy about you, John. Mary Rose Campbell drops a jump shot. He came over today, and the first thing he said to me, "Is John working with you today?"
He said, yeah, he seems all excited that Feinstein was going to be here for his game.
Yeah.
As everybody else in the Valley. No problem. I'm okay. I'm all right. I can take it. Thick skin.
Actually, I think he wanted to chat with you before the ball game, and then he got busy. And John was eating.
Yeah,
Pull-up
right.
jump shot is drained, and it's just a deuce.
Alicia Cruise sticking a J from the outside.
The Leopards have stayed within 3 here in the second half of this ball club. And a turnaround shot won't go for Campbell. Lafayette shooting has improved dramatically, as it was 19% at halftime. They're up to 31% now. They're shooting much better in the second half.
I think, Gary, a lot of it is a willingness to do so. How about Alicia Cruise? Hello. I think somebody gave her a uniform at halftime. I'm not sure, but man, she is playing with a real confidence here.
Did not play in the first half. Cruise is a 5'8" junior out of Coalport, Pennsylvania. There you get a look at
Go ahead.
Caitlin Agostinaccio.
Agostinaccio. You did work on that.
I've been working on
Agostinaccio.
She is actually a Holy Cross volleyball player, and she's a great volleyball player. She played her first basketball game on December 5th. 5'9" sophomore from Belmore, New York.
Nice penetration by Cruise that time, and Kokolis.
Up and in.
You know, you look at Caitlin's last name, and really, phonetically, it's perfect. It's not a very difficult. You just got to take some time to look at it, and it's actually a very pretty sounding name, depending on your perspective.
Well, way to take the easy road with Cocoless and let me hang it on the.
But how did a guy like Gibbons recruit her?
What?
That's what I can't figure out.
Boy,
well, I know what he did. He sent Di on the home visit.
There you go.
And they thought Holy Cross was like in an Italian suburb.
Bill Gibbons has the thickest New England accent you'd ever want to hear. Foul's going to be on Fitz, as that will be her second and the team's second.
Great court vision right here, and I'll tell you, Playsick is a catalyst. And you talk about the diversity of this Holy Cross squad, Gary. They've got all the answers. They're big people, can step away from the basket. They can post up inside. Playsick is the prototypical point guard, kind of in the mold of her assistant coach over there, Ann Kinney. Remember when Ann used to come through here and wreak havoc on opponents? But Sarah Playsick got this team to a great start and really plays the role of a quarterback, the point guard, perfectly.
And drops the foul shot. She now has 10 points, came in averaging 8.7. And John talked about Ann Kinney, as certainly to have her as your coach really will make you a better player. As Ann, we said, was and relegated back to 10th with 1,234 points.
Katie Cocoless trying to enter it down to Colleen Fitzpatrick, and a great high-low.
Good defense.
It sure was, because the play offensively, Gary, was executed very, very well, but not for the good interior defense by the Leopards and good positioning. That would have gone for an easy deuce.
32nd timeout called by Holy Cross, and this has been an even second half.
Can execute it. We've seen Andrews, we've seen O'Keefe, and that time on the perimeter, I think it was Mary Rose Campbell.
Half points. They scored only 15 in the entire first half, and they've done it with some good outside shooting. And Alicia Cruez off the bench. She's hit a couple of big ones. Yeah,
there's a poster that maybe you've seen often that says you will miss 100% of the jump shots that you don't take. And you know, Lafayette came out in the second half, and I'm sure on cue from Tammy Smith, be a little more assertive, be a little more confident, and when you have an open shot, pull the trigger.
And they have done that to a 23-23 second half tie. As we have 8:34 to play here in the ball game. Ends being scheduled to start at 3:15. It will not start any earlier than that.
Yeah, we haven't seen a whole lot of Katie Cocoless. Clearly, she's coming on strong here of late for the Leopards. The one thing that I do notice, though, she seems to like to take her jump shot off the dribble. One thing that will help Katie, I think, is to be able to catch the ball and shoot it. She likes that one dribble penetration pull-up, and I think something that will help her game, as she calls a timeout under duress, will be to just simply catch it off the screen and knock it down.
32nd timeout now by Lafayette. Our next ball game with the women will take place on January 31st when American comes to town. We'll have that doubleheader for you beginning at 5:30. We do have the men again for you on Tuesday night when an outstanding Penn team comes to the Kirby Sports Center.
Poor Fran O'Hanlon. We'll get to it in a minute. I think Dan's got something for us right now. We'll get back to that.
Dan's going to chat with somebody. Here's Dan Mounty.
All right, Gary, we're here with Tracy Sear, who was the head coach for Katie Cocoless when she was at Notre Dame High School. And Katie's getting a lot of minutes out there and making an impact for Lafayette today.
Yeah, I'm happy to see as the season progresses, she's continuing to get more and more playing time, and she's really coming in her own game.
Style of play, does it situate a matchup well with Notre Dame, what she's learned there?
I'd say so, but I think, you know, the college game is such a faster-paced game, and she's really got to learn that, and she's learning it by playing against such great competition at this level.
All right, Tracy Sear, Katie Cocoless' head coach in high school. Now back to you guys.
Yeah, Katie scored a few points at Notre Dame, 1,780, averaged 16.5 points in her 4-year career. And quickly down the floor, Maggie Fontana puts it up and in.
Yeah, the previous possession saw something I really liked that time. Just made mention of it. Katie Kokeles catching the ball without a dribble and launching what looked like a pretty good jump shot. So, you know, so many of these freshmen, Gary, will develop as time goes on. I think that the future's bright for this young team.
Our future's bright, too. Come on back and see what happens. Always something happening here during timeouts.
JJ is having a whale of a time here. He's just like...
That was a pull golf shot. I don't know what that is. Down inside, and now it is a career game for Lisa Andrews. 14 points.
It's fundamentally sound. The pass was high, and notice how the big girl never brought it down.
It's no good roll. Rojan will get hacked inside. Nice job by Liz to go get the rebound.
Gary, we've seen so many good players come through the program here as we take a look at big Lisa Andrews on the inside. Just doing a great job keeping the ball up and finishing. But you know, Gary started to talk about some of the great players that have come through this place, both on the men's side and the women's side. Had a chance today to look through one of the Lafayette alumni news magazines and found out that Lafayette people who remember Heidi Caruso years ago is an Air Force surgeon. She is a surgeon in the United States Air Force, and nice play by Kim Costello there to force the walk. Heidi was just deployed to Afghanistan, where she is serving her country, and we wish her all the best. Just read that today, and special kid right there from a very special family.
Thousands of great stories about Lafayette graduates, as Rojan can't get that to fall. John, you know, you look at some numbers here. Lafayette now out rebounding Holy Cross 30-28. And those numbers were skewed the other way pretty greatly in the first half.
And no question, and it's just a great looking shot there by Kim Costello. Gary, it's just a matter of this team coming out and playing with more assertiveness. I think they were a little in awe in the first half, a little tentative. I think they've had to adapt and adjust their game. Clearly, they're mismatched on the inside, but they're doing a better job of taking their game to the perimeter, and it's paid dividends.
Fitzgerald couldn't get the first one, but she went and got her own rebound and got hacked as she tried to put it back up as McClellan will commit the foul.
Yeah, nice drop step right there. She had position on Ashley McClellan on the inside, so real good discipline. This is a fundamentally sound team. They are well coached. The inside people know how to play on the block, and the guards do a great job of distributing the basketball.
That's Patty's first point of the game from the foul line.
You take a look at Bill Gibbons, what a job he's done. O'Connor gets a breather. But, you know, Gary, you talked earlier about baby steps. And when Tammy Smith breaks down the film of this game, she will see some very positive signs here in the second half, particularly from her young people.
Doherty's going to get tripped on the outside. It'll be a non-shooting foul. 9 Crusaders have scored in today's ball game. Lafayette was 7.
But Kristen Doherty really loves to drive the ball to the basket, and only a freshman, she plays with a real assertiveness.
Nice head fake, but a good block by Andrews. Oh, they're going to call foul on Lisa Andrews.
Yeah, and Bill Gibbons is kind of gives it that look that coaches will give it. Maybe a little bit of a bump now, probably all ball, but nonetheless, the good assertive move by Ashley McClellan draws the whistle.
McClellan is an 86% free throw shooter.
It's the first one, and you can tell her mechanics are absolutely perfect. Great rotation, release, rotation, splash.
Leopards are 12 for 12 from the foul line.
A lot of little bright spots here, you know, going up against a tremendous opponent. Look at that, no answer.
And we're going to get a hack. Bill Gibbons likes that call. He's looking for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just, you know, it's a perfect pass to the open hand. And is that Andrews, I believe? Does a great job of catching the ball with 2 hands, keeping it high, and has a chance to convert a convert on 2 foul shots.
Lady Leopards are off now until next Friday night. The men, they'll play on Tuesday, but the Lady Leopards will play again against Lehigh next Friday night at Stabler Arena.
Yeah, interesting, the men have to play Holy Cross today, and on the radio show with Fran last week, and he was lamenting the fact that some of the game films he had to watch in successive times, he had to watch the Holy Cross film coming off a 43-point win against Colgate, and now the next game film he's going to have to watch is of Penn. And they shot 87% against Southern Cal.
And killed them.
That's right. Doesn't get any easier for the Lafayette men.
And Lehigh playing an American today, and Lehigh's off to a 2-0 start.
Hey, Fred said he's going to give the film to his assistants to break down and figure it out. Lafayette on the run. Kick it up, Liz.
Fitzpatrick had nailed one for the Leopards the last time down the floor. Doherty can't get it high enough on the glass. And out of the pack come the Crusaders.
Great first step by Doherty. She just couldn't finish.
Conti from the outside.
Yeah, I'll tell you. There are no weaknesses, Gary. You penetrate, you kick out. Conti's been relatively quiet, but knocks down the jump shot.
Doherty from the corner, and it won't go. Hung around. Rojan with a little mugging, but got away with it. As Kokelis back in, and Doherty will sit.
Freshman for freshman. Gotta love that kid's demeanor, though. She's a tough one. She's going to be a good player here, as will Brittany Rottweiler is going to have a good future. Katie Kokelis, we've seen her. Lindsay Myers will be back.
Bush from the outside, the left-hander. Wow. Nails her second triple of the game. She has 6 points.
You want to finish strong. Lafayette has played a good second half to this point, Gary, and you want to finish strong.
Fitz drops the ball. Rojan, the left-handed shot, no. And the rebound, Fitzgerald.
Gary, the last 3 or 4 shots the Leopards have taken have come up short. You start to wonder if the legs aren't going just a little bit. Holy Cross is a bigger, stronger, faster, and deeper team. And though Lafayette has had some pretty good looks the last few times down the court, maybe the fact that they're short on those underscores the fact that they could be getting just a little worn out.
Augusta Nacho up and in.
You were dying to say that.
Feels good.
It is a Romance language.
It is.
It is. Augusta Nacho. Boy, they just keep coming at you in waves. Spell their names how you will, they all can play.
G-O-O-D.
That's right.
Inside.
Oh, great look.
Pass. Costello to Fitzpatrick.
We have seen some nice plays, Gary. You know, the score notwithstanding, obviously, 2 teams at different stages of their development, but we have seen some very, very nice basketball plays today.
Good ball movement again. Great flow to the offense of Holy Cross.
Look how many times it touches the floor. That's a jump shot off 2 dribbles and, you know, a solid 15 or 20 seconds possession.
And good defense. Good box out by Lafayette. Fitzpatrick. It won't go, but she's fouled by Andrews. And Colleen having another good ball game. 16 points to this point, as she is the only Leopard in double figures.
How about the pass from Katie Kokelis in transition? The ball pushed off the floor nicely, and a touch pass from the wing to the low block from Kokelis to Fitzpatrick, and Colleen converts.
And they maintain their streak, 13 for 13. Randall Hale, when I was walking in today, he was walking out, and John, he looked like a kid out of the hood.
He had a leather hat.
He had a leather hat on.
He's got a little new. That's got to be a South Philly thing. You know,
yeah.
He wore that to the radio show, and I wanted to say something, and he had to give me some background on it. We'll have to get to it.
Boy, slapped me a low 5 and bumped my chest. 73-50. We'll be back. Cross ready to put it back in play with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to go. And Lafayette has played the Crusaders to a 3-point deficit here in the second half and put some points on the board, 35 of them. in the second half. There goes Bush. Good defense. Coming out was Rojan. And here come the Leopards.
Nice job by Katie Copeland to come up with the loose ball inside.
And had a quick pull-up 15-footer. No. Rojan battles, but they can't come up with the ball as McClellan couldn't get the jumper down.
It's okay. Pretty good look. Good transition. Good ball movement. McClellan's going to make that shot right from a spot where she is comfortable shooting it. Just didn't go down that time.
By the way, that basket by Caitlin Agostinacio was her first 2 points of the season. So that got
and you got to call it.
A big charge, yeah.
That's right. Push. Wow. Oh, I thought that was down.
Quickly down the floor. And there goes another trying to feed it into Fitz. Gets it. Drops it off to Rojan.
Pretty good ball movement again, Gary. And, you know, Lafayette kind of learning here. Maybe a little too little, a little too late. But nonetheless, Gary, when the ball goes inside, rather than shoot it over the likes of Andrews and O'Keefe, they're kicking it back outside for some easy 17-footers.
John and I will be back on Tuesday night, 7:30. Penn Quakers come to town. Boy, she's had a nice ball game.
Oh, she sure has. I mean, she's so fundamentally sound. She turns face to the basket, never brings it down. And I'll tell you, Lisa Andrews, nice little look inside here by Agostinacio, and Andrews finishes. So, you know, Holy Cross really, as advertised, what a strong team they are.
Andrews drains the foul shot, so 18 points for Lisa Andrews, her career high.
And that's the one right there. I thought Katie had the first look, although she makes a nice play to the inside. I thought Katie had the first lick on the ball reversal, but again, makes a good play out of it nonetheless.
Andrews scored 1,571 points in her high school career as Patty Fitzgerald drops one.
Crisp on that last offensive possession.
Her high school won a state championship when she was on the ball club.
It's a young lady who does know where the basket is.
Her one word to describe her coach is unique.
Political. She's going the political science major, clearly.
Bill is unique.
Well, I'll tell you what, his record would indicate so.
That's even unique.
That's right.
Not many with more wins than him. None in Holy Cross. Well, Fitzpatrick, she battles from the time the horn goes off to start a game till the time the horn goes off to end it.
You know, it would be true of so many players, Gary, like Colleen Fitzpatrick, that you put a solid 6'2" or 6'3" center next to her and let her go to work. She really has become the focal point of the Lafayette offense. And, you know, when she draws the attention of people like O'Keefe and Andrews and the other big people, life is difficult. But boy, I'll tell you, she battles every inch of the way.
If Fitz can keep the streak going. Yeah, with 14 in a row.
You had to say it. No, usually that spells you're a confident man.
I am. And if she makes this, she has 20 points. There's the there's the bedridden, the injury row there.
That's the that's not the kind of team photograph that you want to see in the middle of a basketball game. Every one of those players in street clothes, every one of those players unavailable.
Torn ACL Bechtel, torn ACL Myers, detached retina Murray, concussion Breon Welty. And the broken ankle of Jen Baer. Nice shot up and in by Jessica Conti.
Again, off the pass. Holy Cross moving the ball so effectively. That's it. Yeah. Oh.
Looked good. Nice rotation.
No, it sure did. And she caught it and shot it.
Good foul on Kim Costello. Not a good foul, but she committed the foul.
Not a bad foul. Obviously, Holy Cross going to get a chance to shoot 2 foul shots here, but Holy Cross clearly had numbers, and the foul results in Holy Cross having to shoot the foul shot instead of getting a point-blank layup.
Tammy will take some solace here out of the second half that the Lady Leopards played, and maybe Dan Mowdy will ask her what she talked about at halftime, because they came out with a little fire in the belly.
Well, after the injury to Baer last week, very little time, Gary, to really make the adjustments necessary. They'll get better as they go along. Tammy Smith has been around. She's won an awful lot of games. And this team will adapt.
Final 30 seconds. And it will be Lafayette ball. We will also name our Pepsi Player of the Game at the conclusion.
Lafayette shooting 15 for 36 in the second half, Gary. Much better. Last 13 seconds wind down. And as you said, Gary, I think some positive steps here in the second half for a young Leopard team that's trying to overcome some significant injury problems.
And Holy Cross is going to go to 3-0 in the league as they win this one by an 82-56 score. When we come back, we will chat with Tammy Smith and our Pepsi Player of the Game, Colleen Fitzpatrick. Stay with us.